Welcome back, everybody, to Who's Views, and it's part two of our Wilderness Years look at 1993. It's good to see you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am joined tonight by George and by Paul. Hi, guys.
Hello there. Hello.
Good to see you both. And yeah, thanks. It's great to see you all in the chat as well. Thank you for joining us. 1993. Now, George, you weren't with us for part one.
No, I wasn't. I was just saying before the show started, I watched this for probably the first time in 30 plus years this morning for tonight's show. And what a treat.
I thought you were going to say to George there, you weren't alive in 1993, were you, George? I thought you were going to say that.
Well, the thing that struck me was, I know it's famous for its outlandish plot lines, you know, stuff like Chardonnay has finally found true happiness with her fourth husband till she discovers he's her biological father. But this has got to be the weirdest episode of EastEnders ever.
Spoilers, no one dies, though, which is quite unusual for EastEnders.
We've also been joined by Phil tonight as well. So, Phil, nice to see you as well. Thank you for joining us.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
And, of course, we are going to be looking at the thing that Paul has been waiting for 3 years for.
This is my Who's Views Christmas for me. This is what it's like, yeah.
It is Dimensions in Time. More of that to come. But I'm going to let Paul wait just for that little bit longer, everybody, because this is indeed part two of the 1993 Wilderness Years. And because 1993 was such a big year for Doctor Who, we do need to look at it in stages. So Paul Schlefter was wanting to know who's voting for who, Mandy or Big Ron? Yes. And Julianne is also saying to his evening goal, it didn't get any better with a rewatch. Yeah, Paul. Dear.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough slog to convince people with this one, I think, yeah.
Yeah, Richard Brooks is saying, though, Dimensions of Time was the real Five Doctors. Well, at least all of them were in it.
At least Tom turned up, yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was the greatest episode of EastEnders ever, says FJ Canal. That's not bad, not bad. It's good to see you all in the chat. Thank you for joining us this Monday evening as we get through all this. Yeah. Keep your comments coming, everybody, because we are going to get to Dimensions in Time very, very soon. But DD63 Paul is saying to you, I'm with Paul. It is canon. Reasons, proper doctors, proper companions, 3 people I know in it, and my robot of death costume. Ah, bless you, DD63.
Well, that's good enough reason for the last part, definitely, yeah.
Well, something I noticed when I watched it earlier, if it is canon, that means the stage show The Ultimate Adventure is also canon, because that little dog thing that was in the stage show appears very quickly. Yes.
It's also, yeah.
The dog thing.
Yeah, I'd be happy if that's be canon as well, but just cancel Shooty's 2 series, I'll be fine. Yeah.
And Funky is saying to us, Crinkly Bottom is a village near Stockbridge in the Who continuity. Oh, God bless you, Funky. Thank you for that. And again, Paul Schlefter is saying, has everyone got their 3D glasses at the ready? Well,
funny you should say that.
Yeah. George and I do. Look at that.
But I couldn't find mine, and I was going to. I looked on eBay, and it was 400 quid for a new pair. So
you're making me dizzy there. Don't do that.
Oh, it's really working.
Oh, yeah.
It actually works.
We need the intimacy consultant here now, right, everybody? Woo! Yeah, these Who viewers for me are the actual ones I got from. Was it the Radio Times that week?
It was, yeah.
Well, these are the ones I got from that.
And it had the cover of the Radio Times as well, didn't it?
It did indeed,
It did, yeah. We covered that. In our last show.
It looks like, George, they're all being photoshopped, but apparently a couple were there at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But these you go. This is what we had to wear, kids.
That explains why John Pertwee and Tom Baker have got their hands around each other's necks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, God, that's enough of that for the moment.
And before Photoshop, they just looks like they cut people out and stuck them on the cover.
Exactly.
That's all, yeah.
Well, let's get into this then. 1993, everybody, as we were saying in our last show. Oh, it was the year that this beautiful logo appeared practically everywhere for Doctor Who fans on all the merchandise that was going from around about February or March, depending which publication or which merchandise you were working with. And it was a big year. This is the year that a lot of the doctors, of course, took part in various things from what was then BBC Enterprises to push the fact that Doctor Who was 30 years old that year. In all sorts of various bizarre places, as you can see from this picture of Colin with the console. But there's the logo there. It looks fantastic. That's going to have a television in it, guys.
It kind of looks like he's popped into his local town hall to pay his council tax there.
It does really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In part one of our 1993 Wilderness Years show, we looked at some of the merchandise which carried that lovely, lovely logo from the 30th anniversary. Thank you very much for all the comments about that part one, by the way. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. It featured on mugs, on jackets, on pin badges, on regular badges, on Doctor Who magazine, on the Virgin New Adventures, on the cassettes, on any CDs that were coming around. There was lots of stuff going about. You can get away with it, really, if you were a Doctor Who fan, but we loved it, so we didn't mind. And before we get to Dimensions, I just want to update some of the merchandise that we got in 1993, because, of course, we did cover the VHS. We did cover the Virgin New Adventures, but the one thing I didn't get time to get into for part one were the regular Target books. Now, by 1993, of course, the Target books had finished. They were done. They were novelized. But in true traditions of all businesses, that didn't stop them. No, because they started to reprint the buggers. And the blue
comes to mind, yeah.
Yes, the Blue Spine range was born. It did find an audience, and of course, some of us even bought the new covers. I was very quick. I have to be honest. I'm very quick thinking, what are you doing? What are you doing? You have these. These are more expensive now. The covers are lovely, but stop it. I don't know about you guys.
I never bought them. My friend of mine did. He's got all of them. In fact, he's got millions of copies of each of them, I think. Yeah. So yeah.
No, I don't have. I do. I don't know if you talked about this last time, but I seem to remember thinking about it now, that the two Troughton Dalek stories were novelized with the 30th anniversary logo on them.
They were, George, well remembered. Those. Yeah. Well, here we go, because these are the Virgin Target reprints for 1993. The Twin Dilemma, Vengeance of Varos, The 10th Planet, The Smugglers, Terror of the Zygons, The Pyramids of Mars, The Face of Evil, Meglos, Carnival of Monsters, The Enemy of the World, The Time Warrior, Keeper of Traken, all with the blue spines, gorgeous covers, really lovely covers.
So the Loch Ness Monster became Terror of the Zygons then?
It did. They changed the name so they were TV accurate for a lot of these blue spine ones. And on top of those, because that wasn't all, you got these. The Invasion, Silver Nemesis, The Demons, The Leisure Hive, Invasion of the Dinosaurs, The Web of Fear, and then we got two brand new novels which came under Doctor Who books rather than the Target ones, which was rather annoying. They didn't have the Target logos on the side, but it was, of course, The Power of the Daleks and The Evil of the Daleks, written by John Peel. Big things at the time, those two. As a non-fiction book, we had the latest in the Doctor Who handbook range, which was the 6th Doctor, which was a cracking book. That handbook range for me as well was even to this day, they are wonderful reference materials. Gorgeous little books by Howe Stammers and Walker. So again, congratulations to them. But what a year for the Doctor Who book range, guys.
Yeah, I love these. I've got all of these. They're superb. Absolutely superb. Be like that. I'm not sure about the handbook as a title, but that's another story. Anyway, yeah.
I've not read it in a long, long time, but I remember not particularly liking the Power of the Daleks novelization because it tried to tie in lots of Doctor Who continuity that had no reason to be there.
Correct. Yeah, and that's probably the reason I didn't get through it, George, because I, as a lot of you in the chat will know, I can't be done with all that crap. That's just pure fan wank. I can't be done with it.
Because I remember it had a prologue at the end of the 10th Planet with the regeneration scene, and then it followed it up with Unit arriving at the scene of the crime with Sarah Jane Smith, and then further on, the Vulcan colony was part of the IMC organization, all this sort of stuff. And I was just really going, this is so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I found it totally boring. And I think I think it must be, guys, when you look at the timelines, it must be those novels by John Peel that got me not liking that obsessive need, which is even worse today, of trying to continue everything and tie everything up.
Yeah, stand up, big finish. Yeah,
it gets on my tits to viewers, quite frankly. It really does.
Again, I've not read it in a long, long time. I remember much preferring The Evil of the Daleks novelization because that was a straight adaptation. It didn't bother with all that rubbish. It just told the story as it was on TV.
Do you know what? I don't think, George, I actually read it. I because I couldn't get through Power of the Daleks. They're here. I can see them here. and I don't think I got it because even though it wasn't Target branded, I had to have it to complete what as near completing as damn it as we could at the time, because Eric Serrick and Douglas Adams, another story.
Yeah,
I had to have them.
Well, my memory is it's by far the better of the two.
Right.
And of course, The Evil of the Daleks has since been re-novelized by Fraser Hines.
You will move on. Have you read it?
Is it all written in crayon? Is
it? Based on the repeat screening, not the original. It is.
Anyway, yes. It's good to see so many of you in the chat. Richard Brooks is saying that this is Don't Mention in Time. John the Computer Doctor is saying, I have to admit, I liked To Mention in Time. And Matt and Spiel is looking at Dimensions in Time saying, oh, so many people we have lost. It's true. When you rewatch this, you just suddenly go, oh my God. And we've, as we said in the 1993 show, because the big Panopticon convention then, of course, the 30th, it does show you, because we had it good, because with the exception of Jackie Hill, and a couple of, practically everybody was with us, and we had it good that year, you know.
William Russell was watching. He's here, obviously, for that one. But
I assume was Fraser Hines in Emmerdale Farm at this point?
He was in Emmerdale and couldn't pick the same excuse. The same excuse as in 1973, George.
Yeah, I assume his schedule for Emmerdale Farm wouldn't allow him to do it.
Exactly. The first Radio Times cover in 10 years, says Funky. Those 21st century fans don't know how gifted they were with their covers. Yeah, it was every bloody week, wasn't it, Doctor Who, in the early, when it came back? I know, loads of them. Unbelievable. I've got a great mug that year, says John Mason. Yeah, that's your 30th anniversary mug, wasn't it, mate? And DD63 said, I got the 30th anniversary pin badge. Phil, did you get anything in 93?
I was 12.
So no.
And
so
we couldn't afford it on our pocket money. That's a problem.
Yeah. No, anything I got, because you were also, Doctor Who was competing strongly with Stingray, which was being repeated around the time, and I bloody loved that.
Judas.
So anything I would have got would be from a car boot sale. So I would have picked up a few old Target novels, but a couple of annuals. That's it.
We've got Matt and Spiel saying to us, I've been picking up the Blue Spine Target books. Now, it's amazing how many of them are out there with those Blue Spine ones. If you can, I'm going to say this as a collector to other collectors. When it comes to any of the Target books, the original versions, the original prints, all the Blue Spine ones, get them. The Blue Spine ones are now actually worth a few pennies as well, which is quite nice.
I seem to remember reading somewhere that the Blue Spine ones you're talking about, they had much smaller print runs.
They're huge. Yeah.
Because at that time it was the demand for the books was falling off a cliff.
It was diminishing.
It was just enough to keep it going.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them, and I'm really grateful. And one that is very, as we covered before, one that is famous now is the reprint of Delta and the Bannermen, because it actually gets the title correct. On the original one, it was Delta and the Bannerman. So they corrected that for the reprint on the spine to Delta and the Bannermen. For that reason, the original version is worth a few pennies. It's amazing, isn't it? None of us knew all this stuff. And Paul Schleff is saying to us, I'm glad I got a lot of the Blue Spines when they were cheap, because they're terribly expensive now. I've got the originals as well. I love both versions of the Target books, and the handbooks are great.
Yeah, they are.
I remember seeing the Blue Spine versions when they were published.
Yeah.
And I never bought them because, like you, I had the original Target one, so there didn't seem any point for me. And I remember looking and thinking, oh, they've been reprinted in new covers, nice artwork. And, the thing that always went through my head was, God, I hate that logo. That is one bloody awful logo.
To be honest, though, Julianne saying, Julianne saying to us, buy cover variants, never, well, maybe Pyramids, Invasion of the Dinosaurs, neither the Daleks and the Invasion. To be honest, George, the logo, they managed to make it work here, because they come up with this very 90s, if you like, design, and it is, isn't it? And wherever possible, Alistair Pearson was working so hard, but you can see some of his covers that have been used on the VHSs at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they are beautiful covers, but as far as that logo goes, sorry, there's only so much lipstick you can put on a pig.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a phrase, everybody. There's a phrase. He's outrageous, isn't he? Stephen Braddock is saying, I never knew that about Power, George. Yeah, it was off-putting. I didn't get it. Do you know what? It's the sort of thing they would probably do now if they did that sort of thing, guys, as a movie. They would try and do something at the beginning to introduce a story set in the past or something. Do you know what I mean? You can just see CIA agents or MI5 or something running around, and then they set. It didn't work for me. Sorry. DD63 also saying, did the cassettes of these come out in 93? We had several cassettes coming out, and you'll have to go and look at part 1 about that. Because we covered them in part 1. But yes, they did. Yeah. What else we got here? Was William Russell in Coronation Street at this time? No idea. I thought that was later, actually. I don't know, guys. Do you know?
He may have been. I don't know. Was he not Rita Fairclough's squeeze at one point, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yes, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I know Mary Tam was asked if she could do it, if she was willing to do it.
Yes.
And she couldn't because she was doing Brookside.
She was doing Brookie.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's right. Nuclear Bum Records, how are you, mate? I got excited in 1993. I did once as well, around about that time. And then watched Dimensions in Time and wasn't excited anymore.
That's the opposite of my experience.
Oh, really? Dark Hall, good to see you, saying these were great books. They absolutely were. Absolutely fantastic times. But as we say, though, they didn't, at this point, they were phasing them out in a sense because they weren't selling, but because it was the 30th anniversary year, they went hell for leather with the reprints.
Yeah.
But it was sad because they weren't finding the new audience. And it's not surprising because remember in 1993, everybody, we are now in year 4 of the show being out of production and not on television.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the video releases had a hand in the demise of the books. That everybody was then spending their money on buying the VHSs as they were coming out, because by this time they were being released on a very regular basis.
Well, we covered that in part 1 as well. We had 18 VHSs in 1993 to celebrate the 30th anniversary from BBC Enterprises. It was a big year, a big year. So massive. Yeah, so okay then. That's the bit there. Don't forget as well, in 1993, we also had a fantastic documentary, 30 Years in the TARDIS, which also screened in November 1993. That is coming up as a part 3, where we look at that for our 1993 reviews. So don't worry, we haven't forgotten it. We mentioned it in the last show, we've mentioned it in this show, but we will be looking at it more closely as a review. So stay tuned, make sure you subscribe to the channel. All right, so let's move on then, because it's now that time that Paul's been waiting for so long here on
3 long years, yeah.
Just a little anticipation there for him, I think, everybody. Okay. I'm not being
I feel like Wallace now. I really do. It's going to be
Arthur's having problems with your internet connection tonight, aren't you?
Jumping the time tracks here. Something's.
You are. Who do you think you are, Tom Baker?
Yeah, this is not the 3 doctors we're talking about now. You should be talking the time Eddie again. Yeah.
Or indeed,
no, there's no time Eddie today.
Yeah.
It's that time now, everybody. It is time to have a look and a discussion over this. What was to become, in a sense, the real, after the aborted Dark Dimension, also coming soon to this channel. I'm putting it off now. But this was, in a sense,
this is padding the video. That's what we're trying to do. I know that.
This is padding, yeah. Welcome to Who's Views. But no, this was the only television acknowledgement, apart from 30 Years in the TARDIS, that Doctor Who was 30 years old. Oh, here we go then, because this, of course, is the Dimensions in Time, first broadcast on BBC One on the 26th and the 27th of November 1993. It was written by John Nathan Turner and David Roden. It was directed by Stuart MacDonald. It was also, of course, produced by John Nathan Turner. And it was part of, gentlemen, if you remember, this whole thing about what the BBC were calling 3D Week. Hence why you got these things in the Radio Times. It wasn't just to watch Doctor Who. They had experimented with other things. By today's standards, of course, it was absolute crap. I mean, it really was terrible, the 3D effect, even with these things, because they suddenly realized eventually, didn't they, you needed a 3D television to watch all this stuff. It wasn't going to work. So it didn't really. However, because part 1 was part of the BBC's Children in Need night on the Friday, and it was made. I mean, Doctor Who was going hand in hand by this point with Children in Need. It was known. It wasn't every year, but there was something to do with Children in Need from Doctor Who at every point. And part 2, the following night, was part of Noel's house party. Now, of course, Children in Need was back then a massive rating success. It was huge. It was actually a fundraiser that was collating millions of pounds. Noel's house party on a Saturday night was the big Saturday night show, along with Blind Date on ITV. So that's when you got entertained on a Saturday night, everybody. Do you remember?
Yeah.
So because of that, the ratings for this episode were massive. Part 1, part of Children in Need, got 13.8 million. Part 2 on the Saturday, part of Noel's house party, got 13.6 million.
It just peaked in the Doctor Who bit, didn't it? That's what happened. Yeah.
That's what happened. It really did. Here's a picture for you of John Nathan Turner on the left. And this is director Stuart MacDonald on location in Greenwich for this thing. Nice picture there. There they are wearing the 3D things.
GNT, these producers' perks he's wearing, isn't he? Yeah.
The producers' perks.
Yeah.
The 3D process was based on one that was developed in the early 70s, which was the way it achieved the 3D effect was you always had to have left to right motion on the picture for the 3D effect to kick in. And Amicus tried to make a horror film called I, Monster using this process and just abandoned it because they just couldn't do it. They made I, Monster, but they didn't do it in 3D. And the process had been around. It wasn't new technology. It'd been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's a very difficult one to get right. And as you said, JT, you just get a quasi 3D image out of it at best.
Yeah.
I saw in the cinema a Creature from the Black Lagoon, and it came from outer space, I think, that movie, and a double bill. And they're both in 3D, and you have proper 3D specs. So actually, it was quite good. I found this version, certainly the opening sequence with Tom and all the blobs, slightly nauseating. I felt a bit sick watching it.
Do you really?
Well,
a little bit, yes.
The other thing I clearly remember, and the reason I bought these glasses actually was, as you said, BBC did a 3D week because they were dipping the toe in to see if there was any mileage in 3D TV. They screened Creature from the Black Lagoon, House of Wax, and It Came from Outer Space, 1950s 3D movies. And with these glasses, you could sort of see them in 3D on TV.
Well, I couldn't make head nor tail of them at all. I just thought, what the hell is this about? I'm so glad it was with the Radio Times, and this is ridiculous. I can't see any of this. So I ended up taking the blooming things off and just watching it as normal.
But if you look at
that's my original VHS cassette of recording of this, because even by this particular point, we have been told that this story was never going to be This thing was never going to be repeated. So that's why I recorded it, and there it is there. And my 3D specs have been in there since 1993. Who viewers had to struggle to get them out the blooming slipcase.
But watching it today, you notice that all the actors are always constantly moving left to right in the picture.
That's right.
And that's because it's to try and generate the 3D effect.
Yeah, it didn't work.
There's a lovely Tomorrow's World documentary about the making of it, which you can catch on YouTube if you've not seen it. And it actually shows you the technique of them filming it. And John Pertwee not quite understanding how it works. It was interesting. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. We've got Bill Lowry talking about the ratings there. So roughly half of Gatwa's viewers, he wishes. Bless him. What else we got in here? We've got Richard Brooks saying Dimensions in Time, the 360-degree three-dimensional experiment. Paul Schlechter is saying pickled in time like gherkins in a jar. The dialogue was inspiring. Adrian James, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Hello. And we've also got Funky saying to us, if Magnum PI can cross over with Jessica Fletcher, then Doctor Who can do EastEnders. Really? We'll get into that. Legion of James, it was better to watch without the 3D glasses. Really didn't work at all, although it took me until I went to Google Eye before I gave up wearing them. I think I was the same, mate. I was just like, is it me? No, it's not. It's crap. Yeah. Richard Brooks also saying to us, it was Noel's jersey getting those ratings.
Or his shirt, yeah.
I do remember before the first episode, John Pertwee appearing in character on the Noel Edmonds show to introduce it, and that was absolutely cringy. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
It really was. It wasn't even groan-inducing comedy. It was just embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, he's very at ease, isn't he, with what he's doing? I mean, he's that's
not a criticism of Pertwee. It was just the way the whole skit was done. It was just cringy.
It's very labelled, yeah.
What's lovely though is the genuine reaction from the live audience. Now, not
the cheer,
and House Party on the Pride. It was both live television. It was live, and the genuine reaction for everybody sitting in the audience towards both John and then Doctor Who was just wonderful. And remember, this is 3 years before the general public voted Doctor Who in 1996 the best BBC TV drama of all time at that point.
It reminds me of that reaction you got when John was doing Ultimate Adventure and he steps on stage for the first time. And you get that wonderful cheer. That was really
the performance I saw of that when he stepped on stage and. He walked to the front of the stage, and even though he's supposed to be addressing a character on stage, he was talking to the audience. Just went to his classic pose and went, "Good evening, I'm the Doctor," and the whole audience just went,
superb. Yeah.
I suppose it couldn't have been any worse than Jaws 3D, says Darren Reed. Oh God. That was 87, I think, wasn't it? 87, 88. It was one of those cheap films that they. Oh, terrible!
It's a Michael Caine swimming pool movie. That one, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he did the Revenge, didn't he? He did the one after, I think.
Oh, did he? Right. Yeah.
I think that was one of the 4 films that Michael Caine made that week.
Right. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't in 3. He wasn't in 3. He did the Revenge later on. Because we'll get postcards, we'll get letters. Nuclear Bum Records is saying I would have loved to have seen Mary Tam in 3D. I bet you, little tinker. She was beautiful. She was a lovely woman, as George and I can attest to. There, she was just incredible. Julianne is saying it's more viewers than have ever seen every episode of Disney RTD who even added all together. Okay, thank you. Phil
even after a year's build-up as well.
Yeah. Phil Jones is having internet problems, but he has commented here. 12-year-old me was flabbergasted with the 3D. The recording of this off the telly was the only Doctor Who I'd had for years. Now that's the point. By this point, I'd say 4 years off. There was an awful lot of youngsters that had just started to take notice of Doctor Who with Sylvester, and then it gets taken off the air.
I was going to ask Phil, but he maybe can comment on this. If he watched the repeat season with the Time Meddler, Mind Robber, all that, and got into Doctor Who via some of that as well.
Not that long after this, there was the rerun of the Planet of the Daleks, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was.
Was it the same week? Same week, a week after?
I can't remember my notes from last week because we covered it last week, didn't we? In part 1. You can go.
I seem to remember it was the same week as 30 Years in the TARDIS, so I think it was a few weeks after this.
On BBC Two. We've got some great news because last night during Headlines Live, Mark Greaves told us that his girlfriend had gone into labour, and he's just messaged us here with Francesca Sarah Jane. Was born 11 a.m. this morning. Mother and daughter are doing well. I'll email you with more info and thank everyone on Sunday. Mark, congratulations.
Congratulations, Dad.
Well.
Yeah.
That's lovely news. And what a lovely name, Francesca Sarah Jane.
Yeah.
Oh, God love you, Mark. And all the best to your missus, of course, and to the new baby as well. And God bless her. Hopefully she'll have a lovely, healthy, happy life. Isn't that good news? Thank you for
lovely.
that.
Yeah.
That's fab. Funky's reminding us from John Pertwee. I am doing serious television. I said I travel in time and space. I don't visit Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
Avon, William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton, the Flying Heads looked awful. Now, they were done by Steve Merchant, weren't they? Not Steve Merchant, Steve...
don't know.
Steve Mansfield and Susan
yes,
was it? Yeah.
That's it. Thank you. From the 1989 series.
Yeah. They look. I actually think that Patrick Troughton, this looks like Mo from the Three Stooges, but that's just me. Yeah.
They kind of look like a down at heel seaside waxwork rendition of the first and second Doctors.
And it's like, who are they meant to be? Yeah. I love the description of the two, the grumpy one and the flautist. You remember? It's like, oh, really? What?
Yeah. Gavin Graham is saying they even reused the gag they had when Silver was on Noel's Saturday Roadshow. They did indeed. And John Mason, you can see it all on the Tube of Who these days. You see, that's what television was about. In those days, you wouldn't have noticed. you know, because you weren't supposed to see it again, especially with Noel's house party. It was never ever supposed to be seen again. Unfortunately, you can find bits of it on YouTube. Huge show. John Mason saying to us, I've still got my off-air VHS and 3D glasses. And John the Computer Doctor is saying, Sam West was assistant to the Rani. I wonder what happened to him. I'm only joking. Yeah. Let's mention him then, because yes, Samuel West, who has gone on to huge things. Here he is here, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently this was his first television, and he didn't get paid, of course.
And he's a massive Doctor Who fan as well.
He's a huge Doctor Who fan.
Fantastic. But apparently, Sir Ian McKellen was up. Well, they tried to get Ian McKellen to do this, and that's why he's called.
Well, that was John.
That
was. I have to say, this was Nathan Turner that tried to get Sir Ian McKellen, because he was desperate to work with Sir Ian McKellen. So that was typical of John, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean that photo you just had on screen, JT, of Sam West, who's an absolutely lovely fellow, I know from personal experience. I have to say, you know, looking at that this morning, the first thing I thought was, God, Kate O'Mara's TARDIS has got a lovely fitted carpet.
Yeah. Talking of Kate O'Mara, isn't it lovely to see Kate among these wonderful faces for Doctor Who at the time? And again, you look back at this and you just think we were bloody lucky, because at this point in 1993, the majority of our gang, as it were all there. And we have to remember as well that this was in a sense, this was a charity skit. So none of the people on this show were getting paid for this. They all turned up, they learned what lines they had, nearly, and then they got on with it, and then they went home. And it was done very, very quickly. Very, very quickly indeed. But yeah, I mean, looking back and rewatching it now, I just think I look at everybody in there and I just think, oh, well, this was the nearest we got to that big drama we all wanted, the serious, proper stuff.
Go on, George. On you go.
Okay, I was going to say, it is a lovely roll call of faces. Because of the nature of the beast, so it's not really a criticism. It's a shame that they're all blink and you miss it appearances, and they don't interact with each other more, or at all, really. You know, I mean, I think the only one that comes off with any sort of substantial impact is John Pertwee. All the others, you like, oh, Caroline John, lovely. Oh, Lala Ward, lovely. Oh, and that's it. You know, they're gone.
Yeah.
Well, we know that some of them were working. Silver's in theatre. Colin, I think, was in theatre. Davison was doing something. Tom was Tom. John was available.
Well, I mean, talking of Louise Jameson, having her come back as Hiawatha was an interesting choice.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I mean, that was quite bizarre, wasn't it? Really. I mean, this is we all know. I think we all know the story of this. Lou, of course, said yes, she could do this. Here is a picture of her in silver at Greenwich, of course. Yes, she could do this. She'd be up to do it, but she wasn't wearing a leather bikini.
Yeah, I've read an interview with Louise Jameson where she's quoted as saying that she was happy to do it. She said, but 15 years and two kids later, there was no way I was getting back into the leather leotard.
Quite right, too.
Yeah.
So, of course, Ken True, who was the costume designer for this, God love him, that's all he could get from Angels.
Yeah.
And why he went for the whole Hiawatha type thing, I'm not quite sure, because by this point, Leela would have been a time. I'm not timely. She would have been of Gallifrey, so she would have been in Gallifreyan robes. So they could have just stuck her into something a bit more civilized and maybe.
I know that the plot of this is non-existent, but the bit that always makes me laugh at the end of this, when she does turn up, she said she's been cloned, and McCoy says, "Which form are you in, Romana? A time lady." It'll overload. It's like, what? Sorry, how could you become Romana, become Leela? How does that work? I'm not quite sure, but yeah.
Mark Greaves also saying to us, thank you for your super chat, Mark. Just before I go, if it wasn't for you lot, we wouldn't have thought of Sarah Dane. Shit, I'm a dad. I'll see you all on Sunday. Lots of love to you all, Mark. The same back to you, and again, congratulations. That's nice. If it wasn't for you lot, we wouldn't have thought of the name Sarah Jane. That is so sweet. You could have called her Who's Views. Wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
Would have tried to trademark her though. Oh, bless. Yeah, have a great week with your new daughter. Oh,
That's lovely.
Matt Enspear was saying Sam West looked a bit like Keith Sutherland. He did, didn't he? In
He does a
certain
bit, yeah.
shots, yeah. And I remember a lot of young men around me going, "Oh, hello." Yes, indeed. And Richard Brooks, and a moral scientist, still needs some cushioning on those heels, George. Beautiful Kate O'Mara from Avon, absolutely. And FJ Canal, yeah, leave the girl. It's the man I want. She was spared that in this particular one, but she was still so good. She, you know, she hadn't been seen since 1987, Paul, and here she is, and she nails the Rani even in this silly thing. She, this is not just Kate actually, but it's all of them. They play this like Doctor Who. You know, this is to them, it's to Doctor Who. They all play it dead serious. And can I just add now before I forget? I spoke to John Nathan Turner about this many years later. And as far as John was concerned, this was Doctor Who because he was the producer. On this one, as we know, he was the writer. And he did this in the 30th anniversary year. And he was insistent, nicely, no, that's Doctor Who. And he would get quite, not tense, but he'd get quite, when I'd say something like, oh, it was a skit. It was silly. And he'd get a bit sort of, no, it was Doctor Who. So as far as he was concerned, this was the latest chapter in the Doctor's life.
Well, I rest my case.
I wanted you to all know that bit there because John and I had very interesting... No, it's not. What are you talking about? You know, one evening in a pub in Brighton. I tell you, don't talk crap, I would say. Yeah, he was very protective over it. Yeah, everybody came and they turned up and they did this bit, and everybody did it for free. Yeah, isn't that odd?
I was going to say though, we're talking about, you know, it's leave the girl, it's the man I want, being a very camp line, but there's lots of camp lines that the Rani has.
Oh, take your pick of camp lines.
I mean, how many camp lines? They're all camp lines, aren't they? Let's be honest, you know.
You know, when we get to Blackpool, everybody, in May next year, and we get to meet Mr. Peter Davison, let's bring this topic up, will we? Because I think he's very uncomfortable in this thing.
Well, if you look at the outtakes as well on YouTube, he's very uncomfortable, really. And I think Sarah Sutton and Nicola Brandt are taking the mickey out of him during it as well, which is very funny.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because when I watched it this morning, that thought crossed my mind. You know, it's, you know, I got a very definite oh, let's just get this over and done with vibe off Peter Davison when he was on camera.
Yeah, that's my career over.
Yeah. How long am I on screen in this? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Can you put it down a bit?
Yeah. Can I just point out as well that slightly re-altered costume for Peter featured, of course, in various exhibitions to follow 1993 for years. I think I saw it in Llangollen or somewhere. I've got a picture of it somewhere. I should have put it in the show. And I remember thinking, that doesn't count.
And, I know. Yes, celebrity anecdotes on this one. I know Liz Sladen was absolutely delighted that she still fitted into a Hand of Fear costume.
Was it the original Hand of Fear costume? Was it?
It is. She kept it.
Yeah, fantastic.
She kept it, and she was delighted, particularly after, you know, a few years after having Sadie as well, that she fitted into it. But the night before she shot her bit, she was at a party somewhere, and she had some dodgy seafood. And the following day, she was stricken with food poisoning.
Oh no!
And apparently, she was running off to the side of the Albert Square set at Elstree, throwing up in a bucket, having a glass of water, then coming back on and doing the next shot.
There's a running thing about this, isn't there? Yeah. McCoy turned up in Greenwich, having had a very successful first night and a few sherries and a bit of first to wear for his actors. Fickle.
Yeah.
In the happy days of the 90s where they could get away with it as well and nobody blinked, you know what I mean? Because we all turned up. You all turned up for work, most of you hungover, didn't you?
I seem to remember hearing that Debbie Watling had a broken arm and her costume disguised the cast that she was wearing at the time.
Yeah, she did.
I really,
poor old Debbie. Oh, there she is.
I really feel for her in the episode when she said, "Who's that awful woman?" That's a very dreadful line. Yeah,
it's a terrible line, and God bless her.
Yeah,
delivered really badly. She's almost shouting at the poor guy, isn't she? Really?
Yeah.
That's a lovely picture of John there with Debbie. And as George was saying, Liz got into this outfit, and it's just amazing. But you know, this is
that looks like a photo call from the Paradise of Death, though, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
Which, of course, was this year as well.
Mm-hmm.
Happy days. The whole thing about this, though, it was sold on the fact, A, it was Doctor Who, it's his 30th anniversary of the Time Traveller, and it was 3D. Even Colin got in the act here at Greenwich. Look at this.
Yeah.
I don't think he saw anything in 3D that day, to be honest.
I'm sorry, but Colin Baker's costume in 3D doesn't even bear thinking about it.
It feels like it's a 3D already, George, to be fair. You know? So.
Oh, it was. Let's talk about the experience of this back in 1993 as well. If you were there, you will know there was a great anticipation about this. We did get excited about this. We'd sort of been warned, you know, it was a charity thing. Don't get too. I don't know who that came from the magazine or something. It's not a drama. It's the not full bloody thing. It's a charity, but it was still exciting to see. And I remember people around me, guys, being really excited on the Friday night. And then you get those short minutes of it. It's packed for the amount of time you actually spend into it. It's a real case of time slowing down, isn't it, for us? First new Doctor Who poll in 4 years. We watched that on the Friday night, and then suddenly everybody went whoosh.
Yeah.
Whoosh. Was that
now, this might be a blessing for some people, but I heard that apparently Noel Edmonds had it cut down to make it shorter than it actually was. I don't know if that's true or not, but he reduced the time because he didn't want to have it taking up part of his program, apparently. So
I remember something along those lines, which is why part one is shorter. And I remember something like that. Now, no disrespect to Mr. Edmonds, but I would say that would probably be right because that was his, you know, he didn't want too much in his show. And I think there might be something in that. I should have messaged him down in New Zealand to say, well, did you do that? Tell me what to do, wouldn't he? Richard Romana versus the Mitchell brothers, says FJ Canal, and Richard Brooks, 5. Count them. I say 5 doctors. Dimensions and Time gave us all the then living doctors, and I love it just for that. Yeah, not all on the same time though, because of the recording schedules and stuff. But it's
like you were saying, George, it's a kind of a shame they didn't actually engage with each other. It wasn't like the 3 doctors. It wasn't, you know, Tom and John together, which would have been fireworks if it had been. But yeah, it'd be nice to see things like that. I mean, these little bits like this we see in the trailers and things are lovely, but nice to see them actually interacting in the story itself. You know, what story there is, you know. But
what story there is, yeah. Yeah. We're lucky to have all the photographs as well, really, wasn't it? Some bright spark on the set was thinking, right, we need to catalogue this. We need to get this put down. I mean, there aren't that many pictures for Dimensions in Time, thankfully. But yes, yeah. I don't know what to say about this one. Stephen O'Neill is saying just plans to have the theme recorded firstly by the Pet Shop Boys and secondly by Erasure also came to nothing. That's true. Yeah, they Erasure apparently, I seem to recall, did say yes, but too late in the day to do anything about it.
You have to admire J&T's ambition, though, don't you? To be honest, he never stopped trying, did he? That's the thing, you know. But... He
wasn't backward in coming forward when asking for things, was he?
Yeah,
you know. We've also got this. Paul Schlefter saying, "What was going on with the theme tune?" I remember thinking at the time, "This isn't Doctor Who."
It's the dance version, isn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah.
Well, they had to be quick, didn't they? They had to be quick with the thing. The theme tune for this, of course, was remixed especially for this for Dimensions in Time by Cybertech, and there it is. There. This is actually you can get this on various what the kids call downloads now. You can also get it to hear on the Tube of Who, and yeah, the theme is on there. I have to say as well from Cybertech, this is the first album they did. It's bloody good. And it's not all high tech in that sense. My
is it just Dimensions in Time on a loop? Then is it? That's all it is. Just the
no, it's not. I mean, this is really good. I mean, I always said in the 90s, if Doctor Who had come back, that these guys should contribute to doing the incidental music because it was very at that time. But you listen to it now, and it's still really good. You've got this wonderful version of the Doctor Who theme, which is not the one on Children in Need, although that is available. You've got a lovely thing called Pull to Open, which is dramatic. You've got that, and then I love the whole Dark Infinity saga, which has got tracks, the Doppler experiment, time travel, regeneration, as the Doctor basically regenerates. It's really good. I would recommend you look this up. And once you get past the dimensions and theme tune, some really good stuff on there. So Cybertech, everybody. There you go. Great album. Yes, there you go. Virtual Baz is saying to us, guys, I didn't like the Fifth Doctor's jumper. It just, I mean, the Fifth Doctor could wear anything, but that was, again, one of these things that they've just grabbed from the Angels.
It looked like it's knitted by his mum, though, to be fair, didn't it? The Fifth Doctor's mum. Yeah, so.
Bill Lowry is saying it was reported that Louise Jameson asked for the dress to be shortened a couple of times. I bet it was down to her blooming feet.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was. Stephen Braddock is saying the scene with Lalla Ward and the two Sontarans in the garage was funny.
Yeah.
And of course, there had to be the cheesy Doctor Who line, which Lalla got to deliver.
And did it well. Let's give her credit. And didn't she look lovely? This is this was the last time, 1993. A lot of us may have seen Lalla, really, because she's very elusive. Let's put it that way. And she's not even in Britain anymore.
Yeah, she now lives in Hong Kong. But that's what 12, 13 years after she bowed out of Doctor Who, and she hardly looks a day older.
Yeah, she's the time lady.
Yes, I mean the hair's shorter, obviously, but
she still look good.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely still look good. So good on you, Lalla.
I would imagine, Lalla Ward's one stipulation for doing this was as long as, I'm only there when Tom's not.
Yeah.
Well, lucky for her, Tom wasn't there at all.
But Tom said that about everyone else, didn't he? I'll do it as long as everyone else is there.
Yeah. As I said, everybody, Tom was Tom.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm watching it again this morning. What a fantastic photo. The one element that's very noticeable by its absence is the Daleks.
Yeah. Again, as Paul found out, there are various edits from Dimensions in Time you can find here on YouTube. If you've not found them already, there is one particular scene where Nathan Turner had chosen a grey Dalek to be in Dimensions in Time. It had to be edited out because of issues. He says, trying to be diplomatic. We all know the Terry Nation estate.
Terry Nation wasn't playing ball then.
They weren't. He wasn't playing ball at all, and so it was just cut. So actually, but even though it was their 30th anniversary, they featured heavily, of course, in the 30 Years in the TARDIS documentary. You don't actually notice them not being in Dimensions in Time because at this point you're just actually watching it going like this.
But everything's in it but the kitchen sink, let's be honest. Everything.
Well, I think at one point that is in it, Paul.
The kitchen sink's probably somewhere, in the pub, probably, yeah.
If that was the case, the BBC should have asked Warner Brothers if they could use the movie Daleks.
They should have done, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it was all done very, very quickly, wasn't it, really?
Is there another legend about Tom getting ready for this and being dressed in the season 18 costume? And I had if it's a legend or not, that he said, it's a shitty one.
Yes.
I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a lovely message.
I don't know if that's an actual quote, Paul, but apparently he didn't want his season 18 costume. He wanted the earlier version.
Yeah.
And he was told that was all that was available that they could get from stock at short notice, and he agreed to wear it on that.
They probably sold everything by this point. It's 1993.
Yeah. But
J&T probably said other thing. Put him in the shitty one. I like that one. Because,
Put him in mine.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yes, apparently Tom did voice his dissatisfaction at being in, not being in the costume he wanted to be in.
Yeah. I love it, the fact when you see him in the photographs, you can see he's just got the coat on, he's got his suit on underneath with a tie and everything, and he's got his own clothes underneath, like he used to do, kind of thing. Almost,
because it was. I mean, with his costume, with the scarf and everything, you can hide the fact he wasn't going to commit 100% to this. He wasn't wearing that shirt or anything like that.
I'll just read this, okay? That's fine.
Yeah. But it's Tom Baker, and what can you do? And especially at that point. I mean, let's remember, 10 years previous, he'd said no to the 5 Doctors.
And we're lucky to have got him, to be fair, and it's nice to have him in it, regardless of what he does in it. It's nice to have him in costume.
Yeah. I remember seeing a photo a few weeks before this went out of Tom in that version of the costume, obviously, while he was recording his bit, and it just filled my heart with joy after what would have been 12 years to see him back in costume and embracing it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was working off this dark dimension fee, wasn't he?
Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
We don't get much of him, but he makes an impact.
Big impact,
yeah. I mean, he's there, and it's great, and he gets on the cover with the other three for the Radio Times that year as well. I want to say hello to Black Sheep Independent, who's joining us, saying it was the first time that Tom wore his costume since he left the show. I remember JNT saying 13 million viewers it got, and the BBC still hate it. He was passionate about Doctor Who. He wasn't he, Black Sheep? Nice to see you. Welcome. He was, even though the years later, when I got to meet him towards the end of his life and lived in Brighton, so saw him and Gary and a few of the others that they hung around with, Brian and everybody, fairly regular. As I say, lots of interesting conversations, including this one about Dimensions of Time. And I was just such a dismissive queen. That's crap. I will never forget the look he gave me. Oh, God, how lucky I was to be disliked by these people. For about half an hour. Oh God, yeah, lots of memories coming through. Let you know what you think about Dimensions in Time. Nuclear Bum Records saying to us, I used to live close to Llangollen and I went to many special events. Anyone else? Still, Colin, Lunch with Tom. They had some great stuff, didn't they? Nice. Really good stuff in the Wilderness years. Funky is saying Colin looks like they had a good liquid lunch in that photo.
I think Colin actually looks quite good in this with his short hair. I know his costume everyone hates, but he looks quite comfortable in this, I think, regardless of the actual show itself, you know.
In the Tomorrow's World background, of which this is from, everybody, which is available on the Tube of Who, and you get to see some of the making of this, because of course Tomorrow's World is talking about the 3D week on BBC and how 3D works, and the best thing to do to show it to the public was to go behind the scenes of Dimensions in Time. But actually, in the scenes with Colin, a lot of it was cut for time. He's actually quite an action hero, because you see him running around Greenwich an awful lot, and in his costume, it's not as bad on location in the scenes you see in Dimensions in Time as we had in the 85 or 86 series. Yeah, you know, he looks all right in it.
And I really loved it. That my key moment in this was him meeting the Brigadier. I know it's whether you're a fan of the Six or not. I just love the fact he met him, and he for Nick Courtney as well to finally meet, you know, the Sixth Doctor was really nice for me. I really enjoyed that. It's my favourite part, I would say.
Yeah, that was rewritten, of course, because apparently it was supposed to be Sylvester.
All right.
I don't know if that's true. You and the guys in the chat, I seem to remember.
But they got a bloody helicopter for this bit as well, which is incredible, you know.
I wanted to ask about this. This is how the hell did Nathan Turner get a blooming helicopter into something that nobody was getting paid for? That makes it quite glossy, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
But not only that, he got it unit branded as well.
Yeah.
So bloody cheeky, wasn't he? God love him. But as we say, if he didn't ask, he didn't get.
I need to ask this, and you may have noticed it. Is Terry Walsh in it at one point as the Third Doctor? He is, isn't he? Yeah. Is he the bit when Pertwee gets in the helicopter? That's Terry Walsh, isn't it?
I don't know if it's Terry Walsh, but it's
but you got a line. It sounds like Terry Walsh. It doesn't sound like John Pertwee. Maybe it's just me, but
it's very noticeable. It's somebody doubling for Pertwee. Certainly, I don't know if it was Terry Walsh or not, though.
The title sequence was originally supposed to feature the TARDIS being added to the EastEnders intro, but this was deemed too costly, said Stephen O'Neill. I remember hearing something about that back in the day as well. Just thinking, well, that would make it more EastEnders than Doctor Who, wouldn't it, if it was the EastEnders thing? I was 13, says Paul Schlefter, and I was very excited. I remember when I finally saw it, I did think, even at that young age, this all seems a bit weird. Also, what's going on with the title music? Well, we covered that one for you. And has the Big Ron clip ever been seen, says Funky? Yes, you can get it here on this platform. You can get it there. How these things managed to get out, Paul, I don't know, but they did, because they weren't supposed to.
Yeah, they've all been sneaked out. I think David Roden allegedly leaked a lot of it, I think, allegedly. Yeah.
Did he?
I wonder if, on the EastEnders side, I wonder if Mike Reed casually mentioned that he was an extra in the War Machines and Doctor Who and the Daleks. To anybody on set.
Maybe to anyone who heard and listened, maybe. Yeah, it was 30 years ago, lad. All right.
I loved his bit. His bit is hilarious. He just steals the whole thing with that line about I've never seen them dragged in, always chucked out, and that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, really funny. Yeah.
It was quite funny. Yeah, thanks, Kev. How are you? Nice to see you. Andy saying to us, sad that Tom played the diva. He had a lot of bad press in the 90s for these antics. It's just Tom.
Have you heard the symphony audio about the when he's doing a voiceover of a symphony?
Yes.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, and he's just hear it from his side when he's talking to the director recording this voiceover. And he's just it's like whippet shit all over again. It's wonderful. Yeah.
A couple of things from DD63. Lala, he says, is back in the UK. Also, I didn't know that. The Great Dalek is my friend's Dalek. Oh, fantastic.
Oh, right.
Well, I hope it's looking good after all these years, because 1993 is a long time ago now. I hate to say it, but even though it seems like yesterday, especially watching this thing earlier today, it's amazing how 1993 comes flooding back, because there was so much going on for Doctor Who fans in 1993. And Dimensions in Time comes along, and then we have 30 years in the TARDIS. It was incredible, really. We were I was
going to say I would have preferred, obviously, a more of a Dark Dimension feature-length episode rather than this. But at least we got something just to represent it for its 30th birthday, which is a bonus in itself. You know what I mean?
Didn't Tom get a bruised cheek and disguised it with a question mark, says Virtual Baz?
I actually wondered what that was, because there was clearly something. There's one shot where Tom does that, and there's clearly something on the side of his face.
Do you know, this is not the worst of it, because I seem to recall somebody telling me that he wanted a bullet wound in his face.
Right.
And Nathan Turner said, no, how about a bruise? And then they added the question mark because Tom thought that was funny.
You see, I normally agree with Tom, but on this occasion,
I know.
Yeah, the question marks. Hated the question marks.
The question marks. They will.
That's one thing I certainly agree with him on.
Yeah, those question marks are going to hang over our generation of Doctor Who fans forever.
Although I did like the gag in Capaldi's era when he said he's got a question mark boxer shorts on. That was quite interesting.
Oh, that was bloody awful. I'd never want to hear about question marks on bloody clothes ever again if Doctor Who ever comes back. Get rid of it all. Steve Blackie, how are you? Good to see you, mate. He's in the chat with us, saying that Kato Mara was always great to see. Do you know what's just hit me about that? And this is something I sort of knew as a boy, and I see it now watching Dimensions in Time. It's actually quite interesting. Had Mary Tam had been in it, because there's a similarity between Mary and Kate, I think, between the looks of them. They're both quite glamorous and beautiful, and the bone structure. That would have been. I would have liked to have seen Mary Tam with the Ronnie. So who's who? What's going on? Isn't that? I see it more now as well. I sort of knew it as a boy because I admired both of them. But wow. Yeah.
Or the opportunity, had Mary been available to do it, to see Mary and Lala together.
Yeah, that'd been interesting. Yeah,
that would have been quite interesting as well, wouldn't it? Yeah. Although that would have gone off into a different script, the two Romanas. But yeah, it would have been interesting. What else we got in the chat for us? Nicola Blum Records is saying to us, Colin's costume has dated better than Sylvester's dark jacket. In Dimensions, the way Colin moved, he owned it.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
It is. And then Steve Blackie reminding us about Pertwee and Wendy Richards. So, of course, one of the big things about this is it did involve, as we've mentioned, it did involve some of the EastEnders cast. Here's John with Bonnie Langford. And good for Bonnie for turning up for this blooming thing as well, because she was insanely busy throughout the 90s, insanely busy, and still is. Let's face it, this blooming day.
Many years down the line to become an EastEnders regular.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Isn't that very strange?
As indeed did Louise Jameson.
As did Louise Jameson,
yeah.
Anyone else from Doctor Who crossover after this? Was it just those two? No, Mary went into Brookside. That's what she was doing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone else, but it was quite interesting because, of course, as we know, this Dimensions in Time, in the alleged plot, flits between 1973, 1993, and 2013. 2013. Now, back in 93, that was amazing, wasn't it, to think of 2013? We've now been and gone, and 2013.
It's 13 years ago.
Yeah, but 2013, what a letdown that was for us as Doctor Who fans. Come on, I mean, compared to this, that's all I'm saying. Controversial, yes, controversial. But we were there eventually, and Doctor Who was back in 2013, which nobody really. They all hoped.
Yeah.
But secretly, everyone was going, not a chance. You know, not a chance. It's good to see. I've got some other pictures for you, Who viewers, here as well, from the Tomorrow's World segment from back in 1993. So I showed you that one with Colin Baker on location. We've got this one of Sylvester on location, and look who's in the background.
Yeah.
And there's Syl messing with his 3D glasses. Do you know what gets me about these pictures, guys? That is London behind them. Now that is unrecognized. That's the London I got to. You know, the skyline today is skyscrapers galore. It's unrecognizable. Look at it. It's incredible. This is the 90s, George.
Yeah, that's Pertwee standing, isn't it? That's not Pertwee himself.
I don't think it's Pertwee either. I think
it looks like a wig, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I mean, look at the way the cloak's hanging and the length of the trousers on him.
Yeah.
That's definitely Pertwee standing.
I think so as well. Although John, as we know, was around because this was happening at the time.
And that was the cloak that Pertwee wore on the Ultimate Adventure, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So, yeah. This was filmed in July '93, wasn't it? I think. July.
Let me just check here.
Judging by the weather as well, it looks quite summery.
It's summertime, yeah.
It was some. I had it written down, but I can't see it now. It was produced in July or July 1993. Yeah, July 93. Yes, July 93. Yeah. There it is. July 93. Everybody.
It's unusual. They normally film Doctor Who in the winter, don't they? It's surprised it's not January when they film.
They must have been loving it, quite frankly, as well. Here's a picture of John on location, which is nice, with Bessie in the background there.
Yes.
And Greenwich.
Yes.
Oh, bless. Happy days in Greenwich for me. This is the director, Stuart MacDonald. That's the Cutty Sark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were allowed on the Cutty Sark. I still can't get over that. It just still showed what goodwill Doctor Who had, even though it was 4 years off the air, because people were saying, yes, you can use that. I mean, Greenwich is not an easy place to film in.
No.
Especially back then, you know, because of what goes on in Greenwich and further down the road in Woolwich. It's quite a security area. And they get a bloody helicopter landing there. I mean, only Doctor Who could really do that back then, I think. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Got a lovely picture here as well from the same behind the scenes look. That's the production, you know.
And there's Gary there. Yeah.
Gary, bless. Again in Greenwich. That's near the Cutty Sark.
Are you just off camera to the left here, GT?
No, you see, I don't remember the fog. For those of you who don't know, I was around at this particular point where they were filming around the Cutty Sark. Now, I don't remember Sylvester or Sophie being there. I do remember John and Debbie being there. And Debbie's plan to get into the pub, which is across the road from the Cutty Sark, as the nearest possible moment, because it was there. I was going to say the pub was there, and Debbie's plan was to get there as soon as possible. And she, oh, darlings, are you coming for drinks? Coming for drinks. I don't remember Sylvan and Sophie being there at all, and I don't remember any fog. I do remember them running behind, because I remember thinking, oh, that's very Doctor Who. You know, they were running behind schedule. So everybody was panicked and they were going. And I do remember a lot of that stuff. I remember the dollies being around. I remember these cameras being around. I do remember people with those stupid specs that John Nathan Turner was wearing, and the cardboard things. Yeah.
Could that be a mist machine for an effect that they did or something like that, as opposed to genuine fog?
It could have been. Maybe they were. I mean, I didn't notice it when I played it back. Were they trying to make it look like it was November? They must have been, mustn't they?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
So maybe it was, because I remember just because I turned up in jeans and a t-shirt with a mate of mine. Yeah. So these are interesting pictures. And I'm thinking, well, I don't remember bloody fog that day. Loved Greenwich. Ended up living very near there eventually. A few years later, loved Greenwich. It was great actually, guys, for me, because when I did start to live, when I moved down the road from Greenwich, and I was working at a gay bar back then at the top of that street, St William's Walk, called the Gloucester, very famous pub at the time, and I remember boring my then boyfriend to death by saying, now this is where Doctor Who was filmed, and this is where they did this bit, and this is where they did it. And he was like, yeah.
And at that point, you're very proud of Dimensions in Time, obviously.
No, not really. I just remember thinking, this is where they were. This is where I was a few years ago. You know, and it was special. Put it that way. It was special. It's just that, yeah. I still can't get over the fact they had a bloody helicopter. I don't know. Very strange. What have we got in the chat? Let's get into the chat and see what you're saying. Julianne is saying, part 1 left me speechless. I was aghast. I love that word. But I really enjoyed part 2 because it coincided with my birthday and I was probably drunk.
It's probably best watched drunk, I have to say. I'd advise that, yeah.
I drunk Julianne. Bit scary, that. My captain is saying, wasn't Noel Edmonds massively into helicopters? That probably helped. He was massively into helicopters, still is into flying. He had all that sort of stuff. He had his own helicopters because he was a millionaire, wasn't he? I don't think he would have helped with that. I don't think it had anything to do with the production of this.
No.
To be honest, mate. But as Funky is saying to us here, JNT couldn't get a helicopter for nothing. Sorry, JNT could get a helicopter for nothing. RTD couldn't afford a real one, even with the Disney money.
Yeah.
What a bitch. But you're right. You're going to say something there, George?
I was going to say the BBC probably, I don't know if they actually own their own helicopter. If not, they certainly would have had a deal with someone who could supply one and a pilot for all the overhead filming that they would do across all the BBC programmes.
Maybe.
So whatever contact the BBC had for supplying a helicopter when they needed one, they probably just called on that.
Yeah. It's just so expensive just to turn it on, isn't it? To be honest, that's
exactly. Yeah, and don't forget, nobody would have been paid for this.
Yeah. Apparently, it's something like £5 per second to have a helicopter.
Yeah.
But it does make it, doesn't it? That scene where the helicopter arrives, and they did so many shots with it as well. When you think about it, because it arrives with Nick, God love him, and then there's other scenes around it and different scenes of it flying. Oh, I mean, what a headache. Darren Reed is saying to us, so who can explain the plot to Dimension in Time? Or is there one? Paul, that's one for you.
That's one for me. Well, I'll need to check the back of the fag packet it was written on, but there's not much of a plot, really. It's just it's a bit of a mess, to be honest, in terms of plot. So even I don't understand. That's why I said about the bit at the end where all the characters change. I can understand why the Doctors change because they're the same person, but why did the companions change? I'm not quite sure. I can't get my head around that. I'm sorry, even after all this time. Especially the bit with the idea of Romana being the time lady, then she turns into Leela. But because she was cloned as Romana, she can overload the computer's brain. I'm not quite sure how that works. So I'll pass on that one.
Can I just say as well, in normal Doctor Who land, had it been in production, this would have been, had it carried on, and you know, if I'm saying that, if the series had carried on and Dimensions in Time was to be made as the 30th anniversary special, with a bit of work, the plot here is sound. And I'm going to say that about Dimensions in Time. Yes, there's a few niggly things you have to work out, the stupid elements and stuff like that. But the whole point about the Doctors being trapped in a time loop and in circles, various companions being in there with them, the torture that's being put on them, it can work. You know, it just needed a budget, it needed script editing, it needed developing. But that's not what this is about. This is not what Dimensions in Time about. This was a token. I'm going to use that word.
Yeah,
this
it was
a token. Yeah, because nothing else was coming, and JNT saw the opportunity to do something, and he took it.
It was a fundraiser, basically. It wasn't.
It was, and it did. I have to tell you that the phone. We have to talk about the phone thing, but the phone thing overnight after part 1, where you had to phone in to choose. And it doesn't work because it's a second and you'll blink it, so you're ripped off basically. But it's got £101,000 overnight it raised.
Yes,
on that one thing. Do you want Mandy or Big Ron?
Yeah,
which a lot of us will remember. I remember picking up the phone and voting for Mandy. For some bizarre reason. I don't know why. The money all going to children in need. £101,000 overnight is not bad in those days.
Going back to plot briefly. Going back to plot briefly, what does remind me of, as I said it before, I think, is the that comic strip in Doctor Who magazine, Doctor Who Weekly, where the Doctor degenerates back to
I love that time slip.
That was a lovely strip, and that's what it reminds me of. Except the strip was better, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, you got these sorts of effects. I remember the you know that pyrotechnic that goes off.
Yeah,
I remember that with Pertwee and Debbie. So I'm there around about that time.
Yeah.
And it went wrong, and Pertwee getting a little bit upset, shall we say, because they had to reset and do it again. And I think it only took a couple of takes, but it took them ages. This is the thing, when you start seeing television like this as well, you start to think, do I really want to get involved with this? Because there's a lot of standing around and a lot of doing nothing and a lot of boredom.
Yeah.
And
it's really tedious. It really is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with special effects.
Yeah, it requires a huge amount of patience.
Yeah.
And obviously at this point, Pertwee didn't have any.
Well, like I said, if you look at some of the outtakes, he gets really annoyed at certain points. There's a bit where Gary doesn't say action. Did he say action? Oh, sorry, action. It sounds like it's really, and he gets really ratty on it. It's very funny. Yeah.
But those pyrotechnics, a very cheap way of doing scene changes, isn't it? Really, those pyrotechnics, and that's why they had to do it, because the pyrotechnics then were cheap and they were on hand. Mike Tucker, of course, worked on this as well, and you can see him in some of those behind-the-scenes things up in above the Queen Vic, with all his. A lot of the costumes, apparently. Andrew Beach, who's in one of my pictures there. So let's just bring that picture up again. Andrew Beach, who played the Time Lord. There he is on the right. He had to, or was asked to, call various people that he knew that had costumes and props and stuff like that, and they all, the fans turned up trumps guys and said, "Yep, I've got that. You can have that. You can have that." That was good of them, wasn't it? Because the BBC by this point was selling off so much of the Doctor Who legacy. It was what they still do. Let's face it.
Yeah.
I just saw another person thinking about it who's noticeable by their absence, and this is Janet Fielding.
Yeah.
Oh,
wasn't she working? No, I don't think she was on front of camera, but she was definitely alive. I think at this point, there was a reason she couldn't come, and I'm sure it was because she was working.
Was she an agent by this point?
She was.
She was,
93. Yeah. So somebody will know. Stephen O'Neill will know in the chat, or somebody in the chat will know. There was a reason why Janet Fielding didn't. I want to say she wasn't asked, but I think she was considered. I don't know. Legion of James is saying to us, the 30th anniversary was sheer joy, and Dimensions was worth it to see everyone, especially John Pertwee, back in their roles. That was the good thing about it. That's what we talked about. And as I say, Legion of James, in hindsight, we were bloody lucky, because it was the last time we got them all together, more or less, apart from a few exceptions, but it was the last time, really. David Williams is with us. Hello, mate. Hi, guys. I hope you're all well. What I loved about Dimension of Time, and it was that it's John's last time playing the Doctor on telly.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, he did do that fan thing. What was it called, Paul?
Devious. Yeah.
But that's a fan thing.
Yeah,
that's fine. But this was his last time on telly playing the Doctor. Gosh. Yeah, we didn't realise. Didn't know.
He did that phone commercial very much as the Doctor. Shortly.
Oh, the X-Files one. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Wearing the same costume again, I think, if I remember rightly.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, how can a karaoke machine affect my granddad or something? One of these things. Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
Here we go. Stephen O'Neill saying to us that Peter Davison was nearly unable to take part as he was filming the reshoots for the feature film Black Beauty. Who remembers that?
That box office smash.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he did well out of it, George, I have to say. What you're saying to us, Steve Blackie, I'm not sure if it was Dimensions in Time, but didn't the Doctors all come out of the TARDIS and go either on a chat show or the sofa with perhaps Wogan? It seems to ring a bell. That was 1985, my friend, on Children in Need with the legend that was Terry Wogan. And that was to present the check, where most of us viewers were at the Blackpool Doctor Who exhibition in 95 to see Colin, Nicola and JNT. It's infamous. Everybody I know of my age or just above seemed to be there that day to meet Colin and Nicola and John, because it's one big memory. But they were at the original Blackpool exhibition. They raised a lot of money. And in 1985's children in need, that's what you're thinking of. And it was led by Patrick Troughton, who was the first out of the police box doors with Caroline Ford following him. And it was, again, you look at that.
And Adrian Hill was there as well, which is amazing. Yeah.
You just look, yeah. And you look at it all, I mean, it's heartbreaking in a sense, isn't it, really? But that's life, I guess. It's life.
But talking of surprises, when another one on this was seeing Caroline John in this, because at this point, she was still very much firmly of the opinion that she was held in very low, her association with Doctor Who was held in very low regard.
Yeah.
So to see her come back to the fold on this was very nice.
When you look at these behind the scene things as well, that are available here. Oh, thank you, Margie75. She's given us 200 joules, sunshine. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, Margie. Appreciate that. What do you mean, funky? How drunk was I before Sylvester and Sophie? I wasn't drunk at all. How dare you? I was there on research purposes. Yes. How cheeky. Isn't funky to get in that corner? Put you in the corner. Get a t-shirt while you're there. What was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say there. Funky's put me off now. Where was I going, guys?
Well, let's go back to what George said about seeing people in it, you don't normally see. Going back to Caroline John, it's interesting that I'd love to see. I've seen the clips of her at conventions when she did go back to conventions, or go to conventions rather, and find out she was adored by the fandom, which was wonderful, really nice.
Well, that's what I was going to say, wasn't it? When you look at those clips that have been the cuts, that weren't used, she's very patient because John keeps fluffing his lines or false starts, doesn't he, in the Albert Square scene where he's shouting at Lorani, and he keeps misstarting or whatever, and he's obviously struggling at that particular point as well. And she's just being she's in character.
Stoic.
Yes.
Well, John didn't say to her, "Are you going to do like that, love?" He didn't do that time, did he? That was the 5 Doctors, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when she went, "Oh, here we go again." So she knows Pertwee, she knows what about, and of course, with her being Caroline John and the career she had and the success and the reputation she had in the industry, she could match him.
Oh yeah,
easy. I love the way she's just there in the cuts in these pictures, George, and she's just there and she's breathing steadily and she's going right. 4 or 5, 6 takes later.
Yeah, she's probably standing there thinking to herself, didn't have this with Tom on Hound of the Baskervilles.
Caroline John, if you did, God love you. God bless them. I love this from Georgios. Hello, JT and panel. Again, an excellent subject and a friendly debate. Lovely Chinese restaurant, a stone's throw from the Cutty-Sark near the underground station. Thank you once again. I know that Chinese restaurant. I nearly hurled up in front of that one night, but that's another story. But yes, did quite nice sweet and sour, I seem to remember. Yes, I know the one you mean. Isn't that fun?
Another thing they were clearly having problems with on the day, watching it again, was Bessie. Because the shot where Richard Franklin drives it round the corner, first of all, he nearly knocks somebody over, and then he nearly drives it into the opposite wall.
Yeah.
He was clearly being very temperamental.
Well, that's the other story that went round as well.
Out of his way.
I mean, he stalled it as well, I think. Yeah. But...
yeah, well, isn't that the other story that went round about Pertwee getting really annoyed with the car because the car wouldn't deliver on cue? And I just think, what a hypocrite.
Well, if you've seen the outtakes from the 5 Doctors, and he can't drive Bessie himself.
With Liz looking very uncomfortable in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And some nice language. Thank you very much there. Goodness me. Funky saying, JT, I am now certain that I met you up in Opticon in 2003 because I got called to Biatch then too.
Well, if the cap fits, what can I say? But,
well, exactly. Oh, bless you. Oh, that would have been lovely if we'd had. We probably did. Let's face it. We were all very happy at that convention, weren't we? What we got here, Stephen Braddock, 250 joules. Thank you very much, Steve. Lovely. Thank you, lovely. Appreciate that. That's very good of you. I love these little things. It's the little things in life that I get a little bit of pleasure out of these days. When somebody gives me these little jewel things, I think, oh, that's lovely and that's great. Darren is saying to you, Paul, about trying to explain the plot. Brave attempt, Paul. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
He's here all week, everybody. And something interesting here from Stephen O'Neill. The annual colour television licence was £83 and £27.50 for the black and white. Started from April 1993. Wow. That is interesting back then, wasn't it?
The 3D wouldn't have worked in black and white, though, would it? Probably wouldn't it?
It didn't work in the colour. What are you talking about?
To be fair, yeah.
the 3D effects in Creature from the Black Lagoon and It Came from Outer Space they're both black and white movies, are spectacular.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I really enjoyed the Creature from the Black Lagoon when I saw that in
Yeah.
cinema. Really good.
Yeah. There's one shot in Creature from the Black Lagoon where the creature scales this boat which is moored in its lagoon, and its arm comes up and over the side of the boat, and it literally does that in your face if you're watching it in 3D.
You can see where Michael Bryant got that shot from for the Sea Devils, I think.
Sea Devil, yeah. That random bloke, good to see you. Thanks for your chat. And Stephen O'Neill is confirming here that Janet Field did not appear in Dimensions of Time because she felt uncomfortable returning to acting at that point. Fair enough, because she'd been out of it for a while. Avon also saying to us, Jan Fielding was not on screen in Dimensions of Time because she declined the appearance after realizing she no longer felt comfortable acting in front of a camera. Yeah, I can relate to that completely.
But she came back for Power of the Doctor, though, didn't she? Yeah.
The money would have been there, though.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Yeah.
I'm kidding. I jest, Janet. I jest.
And not letting anybody else get a word in edgeways on the behind the sofas I've seen her in on the Blu-ray sets.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we love them. We do love them, and that's what it's all about. We come from an age where you did have fun with these people. Let's just point that out here right now. Thank you, Paul Ashworth. PTA for 1,000 jewels, which is a loot box.
Like I said, can you take us to the YouTube Bureau de Change and get them changed for real money? Can you do that?
I have no idea what they're for. They're just there. I don't know what they're for, but they tickle me. Strike me pink. Answers on a postcard to Whose Views, BBC Television, London W12 8QT. If you know where that's from, you'll get nothing.
You might get a pencil if you're lucky. Maybe.
You might get a pencil, yeah. You might get pencils if you turn up to Blackpool in May 2027. I'm sure you're all now really excited about that. Bill Lowry is saying there was a plot. Yeah, if you blink, you missed it. Oh, it was so funny.
I mean, we're talking about Wendy Richard earlier, weren't we? And John Pertwee. Wasn't there a great story about John saying to Wendy Richard, "You don't look very well. Are you okay?" And it's because she's made up to look older. Did he not say something like that? Is that right?
Did he? I don't know that one.
Well, you may have heard this, George. Yeah.
So what's your excuse?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She did EastEnders for years, didn't she, Wendy Richards? Yeah. One of the originals as well, wasn't she?
Well, she was the original star name of it, wasn't she?
She was, yeah. Which put her on a course with Barbara, of course, didn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Until Barbara went into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's another show. That's another show, isn't it? Another story, that one. Oh, we're gossips, aren't we, Who viewers? I love Dimensions and Time to Steve Braddock for bringing back all those companions and let the Brigadier meet the Sixth Doctor. Same as you, Paul, there.
Same as me, yeah.
And Rich Brooks saying, I adore Janet and Peter on the commentaries on their stories. Yeah, their relationship built over all these years is hilarious, isn't it? I love their bickering and bantering. It's like watching the Tegan and the Doctor in modern day all over again. It's how poor old Peter, how he puts up. I mean, that's the other wife, isn't it? I mean, another wife for him there, because it's like a marriage, isn't it, between the two of them, really? Poor old Peter,
when they filmed those road trips, when they went to that convention in Germany, and then on the recent season 21 box set, they did a documentary. They're going on a boat with Janet, Sarah, and Peter, and they're hilarious. Those documentaries, they're just really silly because they spend the entire time bitching at each other, which is wonderful. Really.
The one in the car on whatever season box set that is, I wet myself laughing through that one.
I think it's 20. I think,
genius.
Yeah.
Genius stuff. That sort of stuff I would watch if it was on the telly. It's just brilliant. As I say, I love the relationship.
It's like Coach Trip, isn't it? It's that kind of thing, isn't it? That kind of idea.
Yeah. So welcome. Well, if you just joined us, Whose Views, we are looking at 1993 Part 2 in our Wilderness Year series. We're looking at Dimensions in Time this evening. Let us know what you think about Dimensions in Time. I know we're going off on a couple of tangents, but it was a long time ago, and the whole thing about Dimensions in Time is it's still capturing the attention of the newer fans that have come in, some of whom... Now, I'm going to say this. This shocked me, and it was only a few short years ago when the newer fans started to find this thing and started to talk about it. And I don't think realize that this thing was a skit and didn't realize it was for charity. And that's where the argument has come back as to whether it was canon. Because I'm going to say it, back in '93, I think all of us dismissed this as not canon and just a bit of fun, which is why I said what I said to John and why I got that look. I stand by that to this day. This is just a skit. This goes down with all these other things they've done since then, the comic relief crap, the children in need nonsense, the thing that Steve Moffat did with what's his name?
Rowan Atkinson.
Atkinson.
Oh yeah.
The Curse of the Fatal Death, which one day, Who viewers, we will also be looking about when we get to 1999. That's something for you to all put in the diary, isn't it? Look forward to. But it goes along with, for me, Dimensions of Time goes with all that. I couldn't believe in recent years, guys, when they started to come back saying, where does this fit? And that's when I started to realize, oh, these people are having a problem because they're trying to fit everything in together because the main series of the time was doing that.
Yeah.
And even today, I'm having discussions with some of these people say it's not meant to be part of the linear continuity from 63 to 89.
Yes. It's like people trying to put the two Dalek movies into television continuity.
Yeah.
Which you can't because it's a remake of the stories.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, whatever you want to call it, canon or not, I just realised I have a theory about this. If it was considered canon, it couldn't be based on New Who. If you look at Army of Ghosts, because in Army of Ghosts, Barbara Windsor turns up in a clip from EastEnders, so it can't be in it in the real world of Doctor Who because it's a TV show in that. So that makes it non-canon, surely. If you think that's canon in Army of Ghosts, obviously. But having said that, though, the Rani turns up in some clips in the Shudigawa era from Dimensions in Time, or a photograph at least. Remember?
Does she?
Yeah. There's a shot from Dimensions in Time in the Wish World, or the last episode, which one in Skull came out, which
Wish World, yeah.
Wish World or Reality World, whichever it was. There's an actual shot of Kate O'Mara in the TARDIS from Dimensions of Time in that episode. So,
well, couldn't they find another one of her from Mark of the Rani or?
Well, they have. They've got other bits from other stories, but they have a little bit from that as well. So that could make it canon in that respect, but it contradicts itself, its own continuity. That's the thing.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because that was 2025, and yet I saw these conversations about Dimension Time happening a few years before that.
Yeah.
Because it's suddenly, for some reason, now if you remember back in 1993, Who viewers, we were categorically told this was not going to be released on video. This would never be shown again. That's why a load of us went to the old-fashioned things like this. This is what we call, boys and girls, a VHS cassette tape.
Yes,
and
ask your mum and dad.
Into a recorder. Yes. And it would record things off the telly.
And when you want to stop it being recorded, you took the safety tab off and it would be recorded. If you want to get rid of it, put sellotape on it and record it over it. Yes.
It's not there. Look at that. I didn't care.
You didn't care. Yeah. Oh, that's careless. That's very careless. Yeah.
It's full of dust. But what was I saying? Yeah, so this conversation has come up and I couldn't quite comprehend why, because having been told for all those years, I'm not being bothered about it because I don't think any of us talked about it ever again after the event, maybe into 94, but never again. And we forgot about it. And then some bright spark somewhere from a video, obviously, because the quality is quite poor, decides to upload it onto the Tube of Who. And you can see it now, obviously, as many of us have done for this review. I just can't believe the reaction it got, as these younger ones, guys, were obviously thrilled to see what they were thinking was some sort of anniversary special.
Well, if these people are so obsessed with continuity, making everything fit, how did they explain things like Nyssa not being in her fairy princess outfit? Did she stop off at Next on the way to Albert Square or something?
Yes, because we didn't have Primark then, did we? I mean, it doesn't fit at all. Perry's there with hair.
Yeah.
It's just fun. And I think that's where it should be looked at, Dimensions. It should just be looked at a fun thing for charity, which did its job because it raised thousands.
The thing it did for me,
K9 pops up out of nowhere and John Leeson has one line.
Yeah, exactly.
So which one was K9? Was that Nyssa? What happened there?
Yeah. He gets a little part. But can I just read this from Richard Brooks? Richard Brooks is saying, Dimensions in Time has its place in my heart for featuring the then living doctors and so many companions. It could be edited into a drama. As I said earlier, I think, Richard, it needs a lot of work, but I think the premise of it needs developed. It's sound, and it would be very different from 3 Doctors and 5 Doctors. You know, it would put a spin on it. And to be honest, having read the script for the aborted, thank God, Dark Dimension, Dimensions in Time is more familiar as a Doctor Who approach.
I mean, it was the 2 episodes combined is 12, 13 minutes?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
It was little more than a walk down of Doctor Who alumni.
Yeah.
Darren79 is reminiscing by saying the derision one received at school on the following Monday was harsh. Lots of people aiming their anger of the 3D not being effective, dealing with that and the mocking from Planet of the Daleks. Oh, bless you, Darren. Oh, bless you. It's sad, really, as well, isn't it? And Stephen O'Neill, in his contemporary post-mortem on Doctor Who magazine, Nick Briggs said that, in his opinion, this was not Doctor Who, just a charity get-together for a very good cause. Exactly. That's I think where we all, one of the few things that we agreed on, and we disagreed on certain things, but nothing as major as today. And I think we united Dimensions in Time went, yeah, we can forget about that. It was fun. It was fun.
It makes me smile when I have watched it, and it's nice, like we said already, to see all these faces from the past who are no longer with us, and it gives you a kind of warm melancholy, doesn't it, because you miss them, and it was nice to see them at that point returning for this one-off occasion, and it's lovely to see, like I said, Colin Baker meeting the Brigadier, or having John meet Sarah again and stuff like that. It's really nice, it's lovely.
It is nice to spot those familiar faces. Why, of course, I still don't understand why the EastEnders lot are in it. Why just not, if that's, they had to take Albert Square because they needed somewhere to shoot, and it's a BBC property, so it was easier to do it. But I don't understand why. Maybe it was just simply because to get it in front of the Notwees, and it's a big sell. Doctor Who meets EastEnders.
Because it was big media attention.
But it didn't need it, did it? Because it was still Doctor Who 30th anniversary. It didn't need the EastEnders lot in.
I mean, but unlike today, back then, EastEnders was one of the top-rated TV shows, wasn't it?
Huge. Yeah, it was still fairly new, though, wasn't it? In 1993.
Yeah,
when you think about it, it wasn't even 10.
And the fact that Doctor got a Radio Times cover as well. I know we can joke about the new series getting so many of them every week or whatever, but it was a big thing then to get a Radio Times cover, even in the 90s, wasn't it? To be honest,
huge. Yeah. It was huge, and quite right of Radio Times to give it to Doctor Who for, its 30th anniversary. It was very. It was very special. It was a special time, wasn't it? And you had to be there basically for it, honestly. Hidden History in the Holy is saying to us, my theory is that the Nutty Gatwa era takes place in the Dimensions in Time universe. There you go, Paul. What do you make of that?
Well, that makes perfect sense. That means you can cancel all of it if you want to.
Can we put Jodie Whittaker and that other one, the other woman?
Joe Martin. Yeah, we can. Joe Martin. Yeah, we can do. Yes.
I never remember that woman's name.
Because she's so memorable, that's why.
Do you know, I'm going to have an idiot board here with her name on.
Well, if it's good enough for Marlon Brando, it's good enough for you. That's fine. Yeah.
Or
William Hartnell. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Oh, bless. John Pertwee on the TARDIS console.
Yeah.
Is it a dream or a nightmare, says DD63? We're going to be asking you that very shortly, because, yes, we're going to be doing scores on the TARDIS doors soon for Dimensions in Time. Oh, that's going to be interesting, isn't it? FJ Canal was saying, this has been a great deal of fun. Thank you for an interesting discussion. I love seeing all the photos and hearing behind-the-scenes gossip. Take care. Thank you, FJ Canal. We'll see you again soon as well. Thank you for joining us for this show. Really glad you like that. And John Mason saying, nearly all my BBC Doctor Who videos went in the dustbin after this.
Oh, dear. That must have been really a shocking experience for you then, yeah.
Oh, John, that's a bit like it happened now, isn't it? Recently after Whittaker and Gatwa, where you saw Doctor Who fans throwing their merchandise out to charity shops, which is why the charity shops currently in Britain are full of things, because people have disillusioned, they've grown up, or they don't like it now. I don't want this anymore. Oh, bless you, John.
2 or 3 years, I think about 3 years ago now, I, as luck would have it, got a huge charity shop haul of character options figures that somebody had just, and it was I didn't take them all, just the ones I was interested in. There was a substantial amount of that. Somebody had invested quite heavily in a lot of Doctor Who merchandise, and just decided at some point don't want it anymore.
Yeah. It's happened all over Britain, unfortunately. Either the kids have grown up, and unlike all of us in chat, they haven't retained their interest in Doctor Who because there wasn't enough magic to keep them there, and they've grown up and gone off and done grown-up things and left it behind as a kids thing, or they've been disillusioned with the fact, I don't like that anymore. I don't want anything around me because their heart's been broken in a sense, and that has actually happened.
Yeah,
you know, and it's a shame. It's a shame. Avon is saying to us, I disliked all the EastEnders scenes, but enjoyed the running around London bits. My favourite bits of it have to be Avon, the Greenwich bits, because it has a special place in my heart for lots of reasons. Greenwich, it's lovely to see that. I don't know why it wasn't all done around Greenwich. I don't know the ins and outs of this particular production, really. I think it would have worked in and around Greenwich a lot easier, and because the location, they're just beautiful. Compare it to the Albert Square things, which is just...
It could have been shot anywhere. You're right, really. To be honest, you know, for Albert Square could have been anywhere. It's like Spain and the Two Doctors, isn't it? It's need to be there, you know.
The Albert Square set was available and free.
Yeah,
that's all it was. And also, as we said there, the gimmick, if you like, of Doctor Who meets EastEnders, big sell.
Yeah.
That's all it was there. But I think the Greenwich scenes are beautiful. I think they've done a great job. I think Stuart MacDonald did a lovely job of showing this is Greenwich. And I think I don't know. I just love them. That's all I'm saying. It's nice to see the Cutty Sark as well, because now, of course, it's got bloody glass and things all the way around it as well, because we live in the age we live. Chorus Sci-Fi and Fantasy, thank you so much for your super chat. Evening, gentlemen. I just switched on to see you all live. Wow, so we are. Dimensions in Time was an embarrassment until 2018, when everything since has made Dimensions in Time a classic. And I'm not saying that next bit, you naughty core of sci-fi and fantasy. Trying to get me into trouble again. Yes, but
we know where you're coming from, though, in that last bit. Yeah.
Let's just do this. But no, thank you very much. And yes, we can include Jodie. They're all trying to get me into trouble tonight. We can include the Whittaker as part of that as Hidden History in the Holy. Thank you so much. Paul Schlafter saying, I became a fan during the Wilderness years. As a teenager, I didn't really notice it not being on the TV. I just had the excitement of discovering 26 years of adventures and stories. Fantastic, Paul. How old are you in 1993? And Steve Blackie is saying, Shock Eye in Albert Square would have been fun. Chris Kaz, hello Chris, how are you? Wasn't Gary Downey working on EastEnders, and that's why it's set there?
I know he's working on it. Definitely,
he was working on EastEnders.
Yeah,
he did quite a while, didn't he? If I remember correctly. I think it was the big sell, though, Chris. To be honest, of look, Doctor Who meets EastEnders, people are watching. They did, as I've said earlier. Part 1, as part of Children in Need on the Friday night, got 13.8 million. And part 2, as part of Noel's House Party on the Saturday night, got 13.6. Overnight, through the phone line thing, it raised £101,000 overnight just for the Doctor Who thing. Incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. So thank you for that. All right then. So let's sum up.
It's a real curate's egg. Like everybody, it was absolutely wonderful to see this parade of doctors and companions, which all of us held so dear for so long, not least Tom Baker, for me to see him back in costume for the first time since he left. But beyond that, I think you struggle to find any positives about it.
Paul?
Well, I can echo some of that. I mean, certainly I've said already about the build-up of all the faces that were sadly lost. But for me, that I remember watching this at the time, although it was nonsense. I did feel that really it was a really warm, nostalgic feeling to see everyone. And I did like some of these EastEnders bits. The Mike Reid bit did tickle me a lot, I have to say. And Colin meeting the Brigadier, I was so chuffed with that. I still get a wonderful warm feeling seeing that every time you see the picture or the clip. I'm just so pleased that happened, you know. So maybe I'm just really sad, but I really like that part, you know.
I don't think you're really sad. I think I don't think it's a crime to like this at all. I think it is a bit of fun. I don't think it's canon myself at all. That age-old question, which we dismissed very, very quickly back in 1993, which did seem to come back over the last several years. For me, it's just a bit of fun. And it was supposed to be never seen again. And part of me wishes it never was. Who put it out there from a VHS tape? Shame on you.
There's a fan theory going around, and it's never going to happen. They're talking about a Wilderness Years box set for the collection set. I doubt they'll do that because it probably wouldn't sell. But there's theories going around the internet saying that maybe they could find a way of actually paying some kind of fee to the actors to get on this Wilderness
don't
set.
think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think so either, because
there is a problem.
It's far too complicated thing to do with it, isn't it? To be honest.
Yeah, and there's rights issues and stuff like that as well. You're dealing with an awful lot of people that are no longer with us, and there's another issue, which is from the tip of my mind, George, as to why they
wouldn't. I mean, with charity fundraisers, isn't there normally a caveat built into the agreement that any profits or any income generated goes to that charity in perpetuity?
It could be something to do with that, but there was another reason I remember being told at a convention. Not that I was bothered. We were told why it would never come out. Some bright spark had said. And it was something to do with enterprises making clear that this thing couldn't be made commercially available ever.
Because they
can't remember what it was.
Again, if it was in the artists' agreements that they were doing it on the understanding it was a one-off broadcast, never to be repeated, never to be made commercially available, they would have to honour that.
Yeah.
Darren is saying to us here in the chat, Children in Need will happen. Oh, it's Children in Need. That's right, because now it's another business of the BBC as well. Children in Need has gone on to be a thing. Children in Need will. I'd be happy to allow them to release it, but they have to pay their asking fee, which is bigger than the budget for Blu-rays and DVD, etc. That's it. Right, well done. Right, that's it. Yes. Right. Yeah. Children in Need as well these days.
But also, if every single artist that was involved in it signed up to it on the understanding it was purely a one-off, they would have to go back to them and get their permission. And I said so many of them not around, so it's dealing with their estates. It would only take one of them to say, no, I don't want it. It's not going to happen.
That rumor that Paul's heard there, I've sort of heard that as well, and I can guarantee it's come from that element of fandom who are desperate for everything and have to tie everything in. It's a running thing that we talk about on Who's Views, of course, as well, isn't it? The fandom and how it's splintered, and we're all over the shop now. Whereas in our day, at this point, we were all one unit. Happy days back in '93, we were all fans of 26 fantastic years of superior time travel telly. I remember having conversations in '93 around about this time, after Dimensions of Time, after 30 years in the TARDIS, to be able to say, if the show comes back, which I was convinced in '93 it would do, I was absolutely 100% convinced it's definitely coming back. It will come back. And then other people saying, if it comes back, though, it's dangerous because they could do this, they could do that. We had a taste of it in '96 with the TV movie, Half Human, blah, blah, blah. And now we're at actually where a lot of people around me were warning us about. I think we're at that point now where fandom is there and there and there and there and there and there. It's splintered. Anyway, thank you very much. Richard Brooks also saying about that as well. Thank you, Richard. And Philip Shaw is saying to us, canon as should be shot out of. Very carry on there, Phil. Thank you for that. Andy Four is saying this was the first of many Doctor Who Children Need specials, and they all survive in the same bracket. Yeah, and it comes off the back, of course, of what happened in '85 with the Blackpool exhibition thing. I mean, the Dwarves were very good every year. Do you remember, guys? The Doctor Who appreciations were very good in the '80s into the early '90s about always raising funds for children in need. There were other things that went on. Doctor Who and Children in Need go back years, really. And they'll try and do something this year, even if it won't be in production or anything, but they'll do another auction, or they'll sell another Peter Davison coat that's happened to appear from somewhere, whatever. Yeah. There you go. Pertwee getting a gotcha from Edmonds was classic, says Steve Blackie. I remember that one as well. I don't think John was very impressed with that, to be quite honest.
No, he wasn't. No.
That's just me. All right, so it's that time now. If you're new to us, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that. For all of you that have already subscribed, we really appreciate you, as you know. But it's that time now, and we're going to do it. Oh, yes, we are. Because I'm going to ask you for your scores on the TARDIS doors. This is where you get... Now, at this point, I want to say 1 mark only. I'm not doing a part 1 and a part 2. I'm going to do Dimensions in Time as 1 unit. 1 unit, okay? So no 2 marks. It's 1 mark only out of 10 as we play scores on the TARDIS doors.
It scores on the TARDIS doors. If you like this story, did you think it bores? Give your scores on the TARDIS doors.
Because the big thing about this, as Steve Andrews is just reminding us, is that the 5 Doctors was shown during Children in Need in 1983.
Yeah.
And I'm bitter about it. Because it was the 25th of November and the blooming Americans got it on the 23rd. Do you remember?
They did indeed, yeah.
Really annoyed about that. Okay, then. So, as I said, and as you all know, all you regular Who viewers out there, Paul has been waiting for this review of Dimensions in Time for 3 years here on the channel.
I had hair back then as well.
Yes, he did. And I'm going to make him wait for a little bit longer. Because, George, what scores on the TARDIS doors for Dimension of Time are you going to give?
Yeah, I can remember it being an absolute joy to see some of the old faces come back, as I said, pretty much for a walk down. Not least for me, Tom, to see him back in costume was a thing of joy. It was wonderful seeing Liz, John Pertwee, Caroline John, Louise Jameson, Lalla Ward, all those. But beyond that, I can't find anything to recommend it. I just can't. But for the sheer fact we had this wonderful lineup, I'm going to say it's 5 out of 10.
Oh, that's more than I thought you were going to give it, to be quite honest. Oh, George, you've suddenly come alive. Really happy. Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 years, I give you, for scores on the TARDIS doors, Paul, was it worth it?
Oh, it was indeed. It's good to get finally to talk about my favourite Doctor Who episode of all time. I'm kidding. I going back to what I said already, I love this at the time. It does, like George has said, the walk down of all the familiar faces is lovely. I'm not quite sure which incarnation of the 4th Doctor Tom is playing in this, but it's lovely to see him nonetheless. But it's I enjoy it nostalgically. It was fun at the time for a good cause. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 just for the fact I loved it at the time.
Fabulous. Well, I hope you've waited a long time for this show. I hope it was worth it.
I have. Yeah, it was worth it.
I'm going to have to take these off. I'm sorry, they're getting on my nerves. Can I just add at this particular point as well, as we're doing our Wilderness Years series as well, that we are broadcasting to you live, of course, on the 31st of August, 2026. This very day, 36 years ago, John Nathan Turner closed the original Doctor Who production office. There you go. 36 years ago, on the 31st of August, 1990, he closed it. Oh, yes, he got the extra year, George.
Yes, I was just going to say, the series ended in 1989, and yet he was still the producer for another year.
I'll talk to you off screen, but yes, he got that.
Okay. As a license fee payer, I have issues with that.
It's too late now. He's passed away. You can't grumble about it.
And you can't have the money back either. We'll talk off screen. Right, my score on the TARDIS door for this is rubbish. I'm sorry, I've never liked Dimensions in Time. I didn't like it in '93. However, I have mellowed, of course, and all these years later, I can appreciate it for the same reason you guys were saying, for the same reason you guys in the chat are saying. There's our family. The majority, a lot of them are in there, with a few notable exceptions, of course. It's wonderful to see them. It was nice to revisit it again today. I'll be honest, it won't happen again for me.
I'm not in a rush to rewatch it after this.
No, not at all. But it was fun. It was fun, and that's what it was meant to be. It's not proper Doctor Who for me. God bless them. They're all acting their characters and stuff like that. But it's fun, and it was for charity, as you say, Paul, but it's still getting 2 out of 10 from me.
Well, I watched it again last night with my wife, and she said it was bloody awful. She said,
Yes,
to me,
yeah. If you were not there, you can't remember really how the majority of us were embarrassed by it to an extent. And that's why I think the majority of us forgot about it for decades. And then suddenly, in the last few years, it's come back in. Let's get into the chat and see what the guys are saying with their scores on the TARDIS doors. We'll start with a 10 out of 10 for John the Computer Doctor, just because of all the wonderful actors we have now lost, which is fair enough. Well done, John. Thank you for that. Avon is saying 5 out of 10. I enjoyed seeing all the doctors and the companions, but it was only a bit of fun and it was for children in need. It's not canon. Steve Andrews is saying the same, 10 out of 10. 4 out of 10 from Doctor Who 1963. Good to see you, mate. PTA is saying 8.5 out of 10. It's grown on me over the years. Get Sword Figa for that. We've got Bill Lowry giving it a 10 out of 10 as well. We've got to see so many familiar faces and character again. Sorry, I'm just laughing there, guys, in the chat, because Dimensions His Time is getting more than the gap with Sarah's did.
Yeah. And it's painfully shorter as well. So
that tickles me. I think it's brilliant. It's getting more than the Shooting Gatwa episodes. Oh my God, that is brilliant. Steve Black is saying it's 9 for the 6 meeting the brig. Andy 4 is saying 3 out of 10, but seeing Pertwee back gives me goosebumps. DD63, 8 out of 10 for the magic that it is. And the Chorus Sci-Fi Fantasy saying 3 out of 10. Richard Brooks, how to score this? 10 out of 10 for the charity work and 10 out of 10 for the cast. 3 out of 10 for the story itself. It's a hot mess. Thank you for that, mate. Philip Shaw, 5 out of 10 for the brig and the pixie meeting. That should be 60.
Yeah, I don't think you could describe Colin Baker as pixie-like, could you?
No. He's not that petite, we'll leave it at that.
Oh gosh, he'd be tickled at that, I'm sure. 5 out of 10 for the brig and 60 meeting, but -5 for the awful floating first and second Doctor's heads. Rodney Strickler,
We were pickled in time, to be fair.
Pickled in time. 10, it's not canon, but it's nice to see everyone. And Stephen O'Neill is coming in with a 0 out of 10. A dreadful travesty of a Doctor Who story. The story makes almost no sense and rushes through disjointed scenes. Give me the 3 Doctors, though 5 Doctors anytime as an anniversary story. Well, they're proper things, aren't they? Chris Kaz is saying 5 out of 10. It actually wasn't as bad as I remembered. It's better than the RTD Davros crap. Oh my God, that's true. I never thought about that, because again, that's something I've dismissed from my memory, Chris.
Now that is canon.
There. That is not canon. Absolutely. Well, none of that RTD2 era or the Whittaker era is canon, as far as I'm concerned. Nuclear Bum Record is saying 4, but George summed it up well. And Matt Ensfield is coming in with a 10 out of 10, purely for the joy of seeing so many wonderful casts. Story-wise, it gets a 2. That's the same as me. There you go. For a minute, I thought I was going to be the lowest out of everybody. Hidden History in the Holy comes in with 1 or 2 out of 10. Sorry, not sorry, Paul. Stephen
Apology not accepted. That's fine.
Yeah, Steve Blackie is saying to you, Paul, Tom Baker's playing the curator in this.
Oh, of course he is. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, all that stuff.
It is another one of those things of trying to make everything. Oh, I'm getting a headache already. And Darren 79, 8 out of 10. It would have been 10 if it was longer. What? Are you insane? Longer? For a few minutes, we had a nibble of something resembling Doctor Who. A nibble of something.
Well, if you want to see something that's longer, there's a bit on YouTube. There's an hour of Kate O'Mara scenes all on YouTube. Just Kate O'Mara scenes in the TARDIS, I think.
With Sam.
Stuff.
With Mr. West.
Yeah.
So and again, it shows you those scenes that it shows you just how production can be hell, because it's terribly boring. That's what they have to do. Yeah, I've got to go again, love. Got to go again. Oh, that's gone wrong, love. Oh, that. I mean, it's excruciatingly.
Well, Gary Downey gives her a note and less camp, Kate.
Less camp.
That's what it's lovely.
Yes.
Yeah. And I love the return.
Everybody gets very tired of hearing reset first positions, please.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
I love that, like where Gary Downey, of all people, goes up and says, "Less camp, dear," to Kate.
Yeah.
And she turns around and says, "Oh, right, okay. I've just been under the misconception this show's camp for years."
Yeah.
I just have visions of Kate O'Mara turning around to him saying, "Bored of having teeth, are you?"
Oh, she was brilliant, Kate O'Mara, wasn't she? Thanks for that, Darren. Paul Schlefter is saying to us here, I'm going to have to give it a 10. Yes, it makes no sense and it's silly, but for me, it's the memories of the time and, of course, all the wonderful people involved that we all love and miss. This is brilliant. Steve Braddock is saying, as a bit of fun reuniting all those companions, the Doctors, the Monsters, and the Rani, and seeing all those wonderful faces no longer with us, and a reminder of how good Doctor Who once was. It's a 10 out of 10. This is brilliant. You're all brilliant. This is getting more than the Shooty Gatwa series did on scores on the TARDIS doors. It's another 10 out of 10, guys. From Funky, we get Doctors, Companions, something about gherkins, and Mike Reed return to Doctor Who after nearly 30 years. Coming soon from Funky Publications, Dimensions in Time, the novel. I'd probably read
That'd be more of a pamphlet than a novel, I'd imagine, to be fair. Yeah.
Oh God, love you.
We have it off the typewriter in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
much like this.
That's how long it took to write it originally, George. To be fair, yeah.
God bless you, John. We've got from John Mason 4 out of 10. A lot of cringe, a lot of bad acting. Nice to see some old faces, but sadly didn't get something a bit more serious to appear in. Absolutely. Even the Dark Dimension wouldn't have brought all these people together. This is the story, because I told in our story last week or whenever it was. This is where Sylvester McCoy on set somewhere turned round and said, BBC Enterprises can't get us all together, but John Nathan Turner picks up the phone and we're all here doing the bugger for free, or words to that effect. And it was true, in the big anniversary year. Julianne is saying to us 3 out of 10 for part 1. 8. You can't have 2, Julianne. Which one are you going for? She's still drunk all these years later.
Well, doing tequila slammers on it sounds a great idea. Yeah.
Well, that averages out at 5.5. So
we'll give it a 5. We'll give it a 5 then. You naughty one, Julianne. Let's have a look. Steve Blackie saying run around without Mike Reed, but all the doctors. That would have worked. That would have been fun. Would have watched that. What else we got here? Mark A writes with us 6 out of 10. Now so many of the EastEnders cast are no longer in it. You can squint hard enough, you can just about pretend it's an actual place. Thank you for that. And John Pope's with us as well. Great to see all the old faces. 4 out of 10.
I might say the Mitchell brothers looked about 12 in this, I have to say, as well.
They do, don't they? And I didn't realize that they were thin.
Yeah.
Gosh, shows you, doesn't it? Legion of James is saying 6 out of 10 from me, just for the joy of it. Thank you, mate. That's really good of you. Any more for any more? There must be more here. Time can be rewritten, says Steve Blackie. I hope so. Any new production team, they're going to have to. What else? I demand dimensions and time on ice, says Richard Brooks. Steady on. Come on.
We should start a campaign now to take Doctor right back to Dimensions in Time and start again there for a new series. That's what we should do. Yeah.
Dimension in Time could be a pantomime, maybe, says DD63. What do you mean could be? It is. It's just a joy. It's just a riot,
Yeah.
And we've got this question from Nuclear Bomb Records. Will you cover the Ultimate Adventure, assuming you haven't done it already? We haven't, and it is planned as part of our Wilderness Years stories. Yes, we're developing that. So yes, we will be doing that, mate. Any more scores on the TARDIS doors from you? I can't see any more. I hope you've enjoyed this. Darren Reed. What did I miss, Darren? Did I miss Darren's?
I don't
Put in
remember.
again for me now, Darren, will you? If I missed your score, pop it in for me now. Because we don't want to miss Darren Reed's score, do we? No. JT, where else can you see a sea devil in a boozer? Said Steve Braddock. Well, now you've mentioned it, Steve. Oh, various hotels in the 90s, I seem to recall. Oh, very good. 7 from Darren Reed. Thank you, then. He's given it a 7. Thank you, mate. Brilliant. They're all saying justice for Darren, free the Darren one. Steady on, everybody. Come on. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed this. This has been another one in our Wilderness Years series, 1993 part 2. And that actually does mean that there's going to be a part 3. You're going to have to stay with us. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. If you're new to us, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all your subscriptions and your support. Thank you so much. Paul, George, I hope you've enjoyed the show.
Very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Was it worth waiting 3 years for, Paul?
Probably not, but yeah. That was. It was. Yes, it was. Yeah.
What a cheek, everybody. That's good. Our next scheduled show for you, everybody, is Wednesday, live on the channel here at 8 o'clock, where we reopen the case of the trial of a Time Lord as we approach its 40th anniversary. We'll be celebrating we'll be marking the actual 40th anniversary of the trial of a Time Lord with our review of Story 1, which we now know to be The Mysterious Planet, live on the channel on Sunday, the 6th of September at 5 o'clock. The actual 40th anniversary of the first part being shown. I can't believe it's 40 years. Come and join us for those shows. It'll be interesting. Let's put
It's
it that
Harbour
way.
Time Lord Canon, just checking.
Yes, it's canon, unfortunately. But yes, we're going to be looking at all of that. So come and join us for that. It's great to see you all in the chat. Thank you for being with us. And from Paul, Mark A. Wright is saying, am I to understand you've managed a 2-hour live stream on Dimensions in Time? That's magnificent. We have.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, actually. I thought we'd last 30 minutes. Paul, you
I think
did
this
say
is
you
longer
could
than
talk
Master
quickly.
Plan. Yeah, I said we could do 3 hours. Yeah, we could
You
do another
could, yeah.
59 minutes if you want. Yeah.
No, I need a cup of tea. From Paul, from George, Phil, who was with us earlier, everybody in the chat, thank you for joining us. Have a great week. We'll see you on Wednesday, live here on the channel at 8 o'clock for Trial of a Time Lord, Season 23 overview. Come and join us. Thanks very much, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to make sure you still subscribe. Give us a like, give us a hype, all the usual stuff, and we'll see you soon. Good night, everybody. Tra.
Good night.
Good, everyone. Bye-bye.